This is Dawn Shireen, here for another, ouch, I got burrs in my hand, down for another episode of Homeless in Flagstaff, and I just got burrs in my hand somehow, and I'm at another one of my favorite haunts today, and I literally can't see anything on the screen right now. There is such a glare, so, but I'm back at one of my favorite haunts today, and I'm just gonna give a little thing, right? Because this is gonna become part of the Homeless in Flagstaff thing. The train tracks. But up above that is the Aquaplex, and then behind me again is Route 66, and those beautiful mountains up there, which are, I'm not sure which mountains they are actually, so I don't know. I should know, right? And I should know, and I just it just went out of my head. But anyway, beautiful mountains. So I'm back at one of my haunts because I was gonna talk to you from the other place I talked to you at last time, and I had a sketchy feeling about it, and plus I haven't been there in, I don't know, at least a week. So ownership takes, if you're not there, hands-on ownership is, 9/10 of the law, or whatever they say. So, but it's all good. So, today I kind of wanted to talk a little bit about the two different factions of homeless in Flagstaff, and I can do that now because an exceptionally dynamic thing happened for me that, anyway, so there's two factions of homeless in Flagstaff, and there's the Christian side, under the banner of a rescue mission, and then there is the city side, which is under Flagstaff Shelter services. I'm not going to completely out I almost did though, didn't I? The rescue mission, because though I'm no longer under their thumb, I do still have some respect for some of what they do. And so anyway, the two differing sides. So from what I understand, though, I have only been by Flag Shelter Services one time, and that was to go to the food place next door, to get something for the place I was living at, which is under the rescue mission. And it horrified me. Seriously, I'm not gonna lie, it actually horrified me. And I've seen a lot in my life, and I'm not, it's not my first rodeo in this homeless gig. It's not even my first state in this homeless gig. I haven't been homeless back in Connecticut, and I was homeless back in Massachusetts, and I've been homeless, in all actuality, I've really been homeless all my life, since my dad died when I was 15, and then my mom got remarried to this dude, and things got bad quick, and I was out of the house within, 6 weeks of my dad dying, something like that. So 16 and homeless. So I'm not new to it, but it was kind of like my first, and I've been to little shelters in Connecticut, and I never went to any in the huge cities like Hartford or Bridgeport or Waterbury or any of those places where I would preferably rather just sleep on the white line in the middle of the road, truthfully. Not good places to be in Connecticut. But I totally forgot where I was going with that. Oh, so I've seen stuff, right? And I've been out there, and still coming up on the Flagstaff Shelter Services was kind of like every bad YouTube video that you see of somebody going into an area where there's homeless people, right? The shopping cart, the drunk people, the people just kind of laying all over the place, waiting for the place to open so they can go and grab a bed, which is probably one of the worst parts of being homeless, is the always having to wait to get inside to get a bed. And that goes both ways with the Christian side of homeless rescue and I want to say the governmental side, but it kind of is the city side of it, the municipal side of handling the homeless in Flagstaff. And so they're dichotomically different. So the thing with the sunshine, anyway, whatever, the rescue mission is that, it's all based on God, or trying to save souls, or, they're actually a whole lot more part of doing service than the female part of it that I was part of, which I really, now that I'm not in it anymore, and now that I've been freed, I really don't quite understand what the whole purpose of the program was for. I was in that program, okay, and I did that program I just kind of figured it out that I was in there for over 16 months, homeless, with nobody really pulling any strings for me to help me get out, and just kind of feeling more stuck than if I wasn't even in there. And that will probably not make sense to you if you've not been homeless, but like once you get into a situation and there's paperwork and contracts and all this shit and you're stuck, I mean, if you have any sign of integrity whatsoever, right, you're going to try to abide by what you signed, and that's what I do. So I signed this contract for a year to study discipleship, which, in all actuality, folks, let me tell you a secret. If you just follow Jesus, you're already a disciple. You don't have to go to any year-long special classes to make you be a disciple, or help you to be a disciple, or show you what to be a disciple is. If you're living life and you're living right, and you're doing the right thing, and then the next right thing, chances are that you are probably a disciple, if not even of Jesus or God, but of something greater than yourself, which is all good. So, right. So I didn't really need a year class to figure this out. But from what I came from, it was an easy fall-in, right? Because I kind of got from Lakeside, I got sent there, and I did not pass go. I had a choice, of course. I could have said no, and then I could have gone to Bread of Life in Holbrook, in which I probably surely would have been killed. So, I didn't know what I was coming into, and I was good with it for a while. And then, when the bricks start falling off the facade and you start to see the real thing that's being hidden behind, everything, that's when the whole thing of like being a representative of this organization became less and less appealing to me. As a homeless person, you fall into a trap, and it's an easy one to fall into. I'll give you this if you do this. Now, you're new in a city, you have no idea where you're going to. I'll give you food and shelter if you give me fill in the blank. I was going to say your soul, but I don't know. I don't know. Anyway, so that side of it is that. It's really kind of sketchy. It is a 501c3. It falls under some kind of religious banner, of which I've yet to actually find. Well, I found the charter, but I've actually not read it yet to actually see what all the hocus pocus is that's in there. But there's sure to be some kind of hocus pocus, because there can't be that many paid staff for something that's not making a profit. Okay. Now, the other side of it is flag shelter services, which I just told you scared the bejesus out of me, and I have never been there. So I am just talking from things that other people have told me about it, that it's terrifying, that it's dirty, that you risk your life when you go there, that they don't really segregate the men from the women all that well in there, and things happen. All right, now these are just stories. I don't know, because there's some things happen at the place I was at too, like people dying, people overdosing, people getting full-blown, just passed out drunk, maybe possibly people using sativa. I don't know about that. But that was a rumor anyway. So like rumors, right? See, that's what I'm talking about. So like there's rumors and then there's truth. Well, I know the truth about the place I was staying at. And, they the best thing that they can try to do is to cover it up and shush people up about it. And now that I'm no longer under their fold, I think people should have a choice. So, but first of all, before you go, all right, so let's go back to flag shelter services. So the bonus point for people who are truly homeless and living their lifestyle and doing their thing, and just want to come in occasionally and, shower and maybe get like one night in out of the elements when it's really bad out, is that they do not drug test, or I don't know how inebriated you can be before they won't let you in there, but there's a level, there's a cutoff level that, you're cool if you're here. But they don't drug test, and I'm not sure if they do bag searches or not. I'm not sure about that. We don't, and I always wondered about that. Here we are, a Christian organization where people are just literally gunning for Christians, and there's no sense of security in there whatsoever. Huge glass windows, and the whole time I stayed there, every night I would go to sleep and I would be like, God, please don't let this be the night, because my greatest fear was that some pissed off, offended person was going to come by and just, I'm not even going to say it because I don't even want to put it into the universe, but, things like that happen, and it's not unusual in a place like this, which is so controversial and so either loved or hated, but I'm going to go more towards hated right now. Yeah, it was always a concern. And I'm not afraid to say that I love Jesus. Jesus is a cool dude, man. He did a lot. But I'm not sure that I want to wear the representative badge of a place that is sketchy at best. Okay, so flag shelter services in an industrial park, right? That just says it all right there. The place I lived in a residential area, and the place where the mission is at, on a pretty busy like downtown street, city street, kind of maybe easy to pass by if there's not some kind of a ruckus going on in the courtyard, but the huge cross will, definitely lead you to the mission if that's what you're searching to go to. So either way, two super bad choices as far as I'm concerned. The guys at the mission, they don't drug test either, and they let you come in a certain level of intoxicated. But it's just a place where I stayed at where they were just hard ass on us, and I don't know why, and then I'm thinking about it actually, and I'm like, why would we have a discipleship program for the female in this when Jesus never admitted to having any female disciples? Now, yeah, it's insinuated that Mary and, maybe one other chick tagged along and were maybe disciples and more like groupies, but so it's kind of like, so how do you plan to formulate a disciple program for women when there's literally no model, right? So, yeah, I'm not saying becoming a nun or anything like that, but I mean legitimately anyway, but I'm not there anymore. So I outran a urinalysis by the skin of my teeth, and thanks to Flagstaff Catholic Charities, got me a place within that countdown period of when I was right ahead of that bullet and running to save my life. But I did it, and I'm out, and I'm not actually on the homeless rolls anymore. I'm still gonna do this though because I'm just out of it. So I'm still I'm still, it's kind of weird because I still have all these tendencies to do the same things that I was doing when I did not have a place to go, hence hanging outside in front of the aquaplex. And actually I'm catching some sun right now because my legs are so white. They're so white, and the rest of me not so much so white. Oh, and if you see this in flag, it's me. Brandon BGM _tattoos. Woody's old school tattoos on South San Francisco Street, directly across from the mission. Hey, what? Anyway, so So it's not as what is the intense, I guess. It's not as there's not as much apprehension in my life right now as there was before. Like, even when I started screwing up, which I'm not even going to say how long. Not that they can hold the truth against me, right? Because it's the truth. But like, I've been not adhering to the rules for a super duper long time, and so I guess that's probably just another bad mark against it, right? Is that they're just so oblivious to what's going on that they don't even realize, like, what a real homeless problem is, what acting out is, what a mental health issue is, what asking for help looks like. I probably could have done a lot of good. And and I don't know about Black Shelter Services. I know that they have and then let's bring in Elon Musk, who actually charitably gave like over $1 million to Black Shelter Services so that they could start to refurbish old hotels on Route 66 that have just been kind of laying by the wayside and just kind of an eyesore. Now, nobody needs to know that they're housing, now they're housing people, right? Because now they're not homeless, right? They're housing people that were formerly displaced, and they've got a lot of them up. And I don't know when this funding took place, but believe me, when it happened, there was some real bitchy shit being said by the so-called Christian side of the shelter situation in Flagstaff. And they're all like, oh, it's just because it's Christian. Now, I don't know, that may or may not be true. Maybe they didn't apply for the grant. Maybe, because it doesn't seem to be an awful lot of people writing grants for this place. Maybe you didn't ask. But it's just easier to blame and be like, oh, it's because we're Christian, and take the victim mentality, when it's probably just like, you just fucking missed the boat, man. What can I say? Anyway, I don't really remember what I started this for. So anyway, those are kind of the two differentials between them. Black Shelter Services does seem to have a better placement rate than Hope or the rescue mission. And, and what I kind of was getting at before was that I don't think that they wanted me to get housing. I think that they just kind of thought that I would just kind of, kowtow to what they were wanting to happen for me, and kind of